I want to show off just a simple system for level generation for the Backrooms, because when you're creating a game based around randomized spaces and broken reality, it would just make sense to use a randomly generated level instead, under certain circumstances, versus a uh, pre-made one. Big one's performance, but if you know some tips and tricks, you can probably get through it. Like this is using GPU instancing, and that really saves it from the frame time being hurt so bad. But here's a good example. So in the game window, when it loads, it counts all the objects being generated constantly, and as you can see from the generator, wish I had a better angle. It creates it asyncly in rows, and once it is done loading, it will spawn the player in. So, as you can see from random generation, you avoid things like small walls or tiles clipping or anything of the sort. This is a demo to get out of here to the next room. It's just a placeholder tile, so ignore that. But this is all the other. These are the walls, for example. It's just entirely randomly generated instead of super linear. And when you add in the linear effects, it kind of ruins the immersion of the game and of the way it should go. Now this is just a demo. This is the instancing. It only partially works. It was done in just a few hours, but anyway, how the script works is really simple. Actually, anybody can really do this. So I'll go ahead and make it a little bigger. So over here, you have your list of selected prefabs, which are these, one by one tiles, prefab set up with the roof and the wall pieces, and this is what it pieces together. Some have lights, some don't. So back here, so you have all these. This is what it picks out of here, and then this will hold all the objects that are generated and keep the child count. Then you have the percentages. So this is out of 1,000%. So this will pick 1,000. So if you divide, say, open space 1, which is the main corridor, which is just nothing, 366% comes down to 36%, roughly around there, of the entire generation. So these are the percentages, and you can control how much of each spawn based upon that. Then this just picks. This will check if the selection is below or is less than or equal to percentage 0, which means since this is 366%, it has a higher chance. So this just checks if the numbers are lower, and then it'll spawn that one on the parent and where it's supposed to go and add to the child count. And rinse and repeat, it does all the same for the rest of the percentages all through here. This is for the barrier, the wall selection. So this is just a wall prefab. So this will spawn it in based on the width and height you set up. So if I do 25 by 25, it'll spawn a 25 by 25 level instead of the 100 by 100. So that will generate a lot quicker. See? So it only generated 725 prefabs on here instead of the total amount. And see, it's still going. It's running through its thing. But as you can see from there, this was just put together in a short period of time, so that might not work. I think it's set up as a certain time. But anyway, it keeps the this updates the loading stat. So the child count it keeps up, and it said completed build with certain amount of pieces. That's what you saw in there. Oh, this is where it was. If the certain count is over this amount, then set it true. But that only generated 725 instead of that because on average it runs 100 by 100. And then when it deletes or when you go out of the scene, it will destroy. It runs for each loop of all the prefabs in generated prefabs and destroys them all. Then you have the seed. So on this script, it just uses this is the default values. So if you use string generation, you can set it up here to use the string. Instead, if you leave it blank, it randomly creates the seed. And that's just the simple process of just a really simple random generation system that could really speed up your process working on a game similar to the Backrooms with that is heavily reliant on random generation.